So I was watching the new series of Black Mirror. The first episode, Joan is awful, and I recognised some of the plot points. It was then I realised this has been done already in an episode of South Park from years ago. Season 15, episode 1, Human Centipede. There are a lot of similarities between these two episodes. Both are social commentaries about not reading the terms and conditions. Both have the main character struggling with an invasion of privacy. Both show the character's relationship with a corporation that exploits them, before devolving into a story about personal responsibility. What I want to do is quickly explain the plot of the Black Mirror episodes, then the South Park episodes, and then we'll talk about where the similarities lie, and try to figure out whether or not Black Mirror stole this episode. The Black Mirror episode opens with Joan, played by the brilliant Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, and Kevin Kneff himself, going about her daily routine, preparing for another day of work. Her workplace could easily blend in to an episode of Silicon Valley, so you know straight away she's in the tech industry. As Joan goes about her morning, she receives a text message on her phone that reads, "I miss you." This seemingly innocent message serves as a reminder of the intricate relationship that we have with our technology. Although the text is technically from another human being, the fact that she reads it on her phone adds a weird layer to it, almost as if the phone itself is expressing a longing for her. These are the kinds of relationships the show wants us to think about. The twist comes when Joan finds herself on the couch with a partner, looking through Netflix. Streamberry. They're very different. They find a show called Joan is Awful, to her shock and disbelief. The character in the show is portrayed by Selma Hayek, and she shares the same name, the same hairstyle, and even lives a life strikingly similar to her own. It's as if her life has been stolen and transformed into a TV show. She's obviously freaked out. Her partner, Krish, terrible name by the way, discovers her affair through the events depicted on the screen. Frustrated and hurt, he packs his bags and leaves, leaving Joan alone, so she has to confront the strangeness of her life being turned into a TV show all by herself. The following day, Joan wakes up and goes to work, where she discovers that inadvertently she broke a non-disclosure agreement when her character on the show revealed company secret. She goes to a lawyer who reveals that the contract she signed with the streaming service, Streamberry, legally permitted them to exploit her life in whatever way they wanted. The consequences of blindly accepting the terms and conditions come crashing down on her, leaving her feeling trapped and powerless. There's a lot more that happens in the episode, but basically it all boils down to Joan destroying the quantum computer that is running the show, thus breaking free of the curse. I won't spoil a twist at the end because it's so good you've got to see it yourself. Now, let's look at the South Park episodes. The plot for this episode once again revolves around the importance of reading the terms and conditions. Kyle is in the diner, and he engages in a conversation about his iPad with another patron in the diner. This other guy raises concerns about privacy and tracking capabilities on the iPad, but Kyle dismisses the notion, confident that the rumours of being tracked are nothing more than, well, rumours. But as fate would have it, a group of Apple representatives storm into the diner, exposing Kyle's naivety and revealing that he is indeed being tracked. Kyle finds himself confronted by the Apple team, who tell him that he unwittingly agreed to their terms and conditions without reading them. They subject him to various invasive procedures, including weighing him and conducting blood work. Kyle goes to his dad, who's a lawyer, for help, but the contract is pretty much ironclad, just like Jones was, and he can't get out of it. So he goes to the rest of the gang, who all seem surprised that he agreed to the terms and conditions without reading them, like anyone reads them. What Apple want to do to him is make like a human centipede kind of situation. It's bizarre and satirical about how companies can do whatever they want if you just click agree. Now let's compare the two episodes. There is a multitude of parallel themes and motifs that connect these two stories. One prominent theme that emerges emerges is the lack of awareness surrounding the potential repercussions of agreeing to terms and conditions. In Joan is Awful, Joan's failure to read the terms and conditions leave her vulnerable to the manipulation and exploitation of the show. She essentially signs away her life by agreeing to have it exploited on TV. Then in South Park, Kyle's negligence about reading Apple's terms and conditions leads to him signing away his life and agreeing to be a human centipede. What an awful existence that is. In both of these shows, clicking that box to agree means signing away your life, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Another recurring motif throughout both episodes is the invasion of privacy. In Joan is Awful, Joan's personal life becomes a spectacle, leaving her exposed and powerless. She later finds out that cameras are tracking her every move. I'm trying my best not to spoil a twist with too much detail, but trust me when I say there are more layers to this invasion of privacy than you'd imagine. And Kyle in South Park experiences a similar invasion of privacy, as Apple tracks his every move. Despite his attempts to protect his privacy by disabling the feature, he discovers that it's just an illusion. They can still track you no matter what you do. Both of these narratives emphasize the vulnerability we face in a digital world, where our lives can be surveilled and manipulated without our consent. And I'm not sure which one does it better, because both outcomes are absolutely terrifying. Both of these episodes prompt us to reflect on personal responsibility and accountability. In Joan is Awful, Joan's ex-boyfriend Mac admonishes her for her failure to read the terms and conditions. He places the blame squarely on her shoulders. And in South Park, Kyle acknowledges his own negligence and commits to changing his behaviour because everyone else around him claims to have read them just like Mac did, even though this is far from the truth. Absolutely nobody reads them. And both shows present us with the very worst consequences if we continue to ignore them. Both of the episodes of Black Mirror and South Park are cautionary tales, but are we going to listen to them and start reading the fine print? Nah. Let's be honest, we're not. We're never gonna read them. But still, they're warning us about our indifference towards privacy, and how easy it would be for these big evil corporations to exploit us if they wanted to. I've got no doubt in my mind that South Park's episodes had an influence on the narrative of Joan is Awful. The similarities in plot points and underlying themes do seem to indicate that it was essentially stolen, but it's more likely the case that it's just an example of parallel thinking. There are only so many ideas in the world, and it's like The Simpsons did a thing. That show has been on the air for so long that they have done everything. So of course new shows are going to share plot lines with old Simpsons episodes. And South Park is currently on season 26, so the same thing is happening for it that happened to The Simpsons. We better get used to saying, South Park did it.
Simpsons did it! Simpsons did it!
So yeah, there are certainly similarities, but I'm pretty sure it's just a coincidence. It was fun comparing the two though. Shows inspire and borrow from each other to make compelling narratives all the time. Oh, we should have mentioned, by watching this video you have agreed to leave a like and subscribe. This contract is legally binding, so make sure that you do it. Joking aside, we are trying to make it to 3K, so help us out with that. Alright, I'll let you go. Bye.